Hello, and welcome to third webinar of SEMrush India series. So, how are you guys doing? I know the times are difficult. The pandemic is up in India, and we all are going through it. But let us spread some positivity and let us learn something today. So, this is your host, Parth Subha from Gujarat, Junagadh, the western part of India, and we're good to connect here. So where are you guys from? Just comment down below until the rest of the audience joins in. So this is the third webinar of SEMrush India series, and we have had two so far, one in February, the second one in March, and this is the third one in the month of April. So a quick question to you guys about SEMrush. Do you guys know where is the headquarters of SEMrush? Comment down below and let us see how many of you name it right. So today on our third webinar, as we are going to discuss on how to optimize content for Featured Snippet, we have a very special guest with us, Mrs. Himani Kankaria. Welcome aboard.
Thank you so much, Parth. It is so wonderful to be here on, SEMrush India webinar series, which is an honor for me. Thank you so much for inviting.
Thank you for accepting our invitation. And I hope you guys know Himani, but let me give you a short introduction, which is like she wears many hats, so it's not an easy to give her introduction. She is an independent digital marketing consultant and specializes in content marketing. And she's one of the experts known by Search Engine Journal, top 202 experts worldwide. She has been recognized as one of the experts around the world. And she leads the content marketing at Ecom Kida. She is also a brand ambassador of Hootsuite and a very, very close influencer with SEMrush India. So welcome, Himani, and over to you.
Thank you so much. You gave such a brief introduction. I really appreciate that because it's not easy to count on each of the things that I do usually.
Yep. So people are commenting, yes, most of you guys are true. So you guys are familiar with where is SEMrush based out of, the headquarters of SEMrush. And do you guys know, recently after our second webinar on 18th of March, there was something very special from SEMrush. They launched their IPO in New York Stock Exchange. So do you guys know the date? If you know, comment down below and let us see how many of you guessed right. We'll wait for two more minutes and then we'll get started with today's session. Very, very special session from Himani. She is a content marketing expert. Anything about content, she's the expert. She's the go-to expert for me and for the friends I know in India. So before we start, I want to say that we'll have a presentation and we'll pick up your questions during the course of presentation if that question is relevant. But for sure, once the presentation is over, we'll pick up all your questions. So stay tuned and we'll try to answer as many as of them possible. So stay tuned for your questions to be answered. Hey, Himani, the stage is over to you.
Okay, so let me start it. Right.
Yes. I think so. The screen is visible to you guys. Yes, we are good to go.
All right. Okay. So let me begin with this exciting topic. Exciting topic because this is the position that most of us aim at. Earlier, it was, rank zero. Featured snippets used to be rank zero, and now it has become the rank one. And we have this dilemma that whether we need to optimize it for featured snippets or not. There are many controversies around it. Probably we are going to cover all of them. So let's begin. So this is my introduction. Though Parth has given a very awesome introduction, but let me also give you again for the people who have joined it just now. So I'm an independent digital branding and marketing consultant, and of course, a content specialist. I'm an e-commerce marketing consultant at ecomkira.com. I am a fan and an influencer at Semrush and a brand ambassador at Hootsuite. As Parth mentioned, I was recently featured at the world's top 200 SEO experts by Search Engine Journal. And here down below my photograph, you will see my Twitter handle where you can follow me. So let's roll it. Great. So today's agenda is we are going to discuss how do we get featured snippets. Next is the best practices that I follow to optimize for featured snippets, a few of the common FAQs, and will be open for your questions. Great. So I am sure you're ready. Let's begin. Okay. So recently, Rand Fishkin and SimilarWeb they came up with a study where they talked about zero-click searches that have increased. This study they also came up with in 2019 as well. So what I did is I brought the comparison of 2019 and 2020 data, where we can quickly see that the zero-click searches have increased to a really great extent, while organic search and paid CTRs have gone down. I mean, now it's like really difficult for us to understand whether we need to optimize our content for featured snippets or not, right? So because this is a debatable and a controversial study, let's see what Google has to say. So Google says people uses search for reformulating queries to find more relevant results, looking up quick facts, finding local business details, navigating from the results directly to an app. Now, featured snippets are giving answers on Google. Then how does this affect the CTR? We need to check this. Okay, so the queries that receives lesser CTR are the queries that, with questions that requires specific answers and not explanation. Now I have brought this a screenshot from Bill Slocky's blog, where he has mentioned about the patents Google has acquired for featured snippets. So Bill Slocky clearly says that the patent talks about that the queries with specific answers will lead to a featured snippet with exact same answer. So for example, if I talk about how far away is the moon, it will only give you the exact answer. For that, nobody has to scroll down the page and they don't need to click on any of the search results. So definitely at that point in time, the CTR gets affected. So if I search what is the weather outside, the weather websites are not going to get any clicks on them, because Google is going to pick the right answer and they are going to showcase it on their featured snippets. So yes, queries that receives lesser CTR are the queries that requires specific answers. Now the question remains the same, whether to optimize for featured snippets or not. This is my opinion that you must. I have brought the two screenshots of Google Search Console for two of my top most ranking blogs. These are the most popular ones that receives more than 2K visits every day. And it's like they have received featured snippet in this week itself. So the data is the latest one. So looking at this data, I am sure you would think that achieving featured snippets is important. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started on how do we get a featured snippet. Great. So the very first step is to identify the keywords that have featured snippets. You can enter the keyword in SEMrush Magic tool and apply the advanced filters like featured video, featured snippets, and all of them. You need to identify those keywords and you have to target those keywords first. But say, for example, there are some keywords who might not come up with featured snippets, but still, if you want to target for featured snippets, you can. But the easy win is to pick up the keywords that already have a featured snippet. Now, the next step is to analyze the type of featured snippet. There are multiple types of featured snippets available: paragraph, listicles, video, carousels, right? So you have to see whether your queries are, returning paragraph featured snippet, whether it is listicle, whether it is video, or whether it is carousel. You have to identify. That makes your planning stronger, right? So now you will see that in this pointer, I have added a small asterisk, because sometimes it is possible that the queries that you are looking to target, which is important for your users, but you cannot see a featured snippet available. That was the case similar with this blog that we wrote. Future of e-commerce in India, this keyword didn't had a featured snippet when we wrote an article on it. But after say 6 months or 8 months, we were able to receive this spot. So the type of featured snippet matters a lot, but it needs to be, properly planned. Whether it is already a featured snippet or not, it doesn't matter. Third step is to understand the user search intent. I am sure this is very popular these days among SEOs, but this is not at all new. Let me tell you, this is not new. We have been doing it, but just it's like that, we were not giving too much emphasis on that. So there could be 4 different search intent behind a person's search: whether they need instant answers, whether they need to gain knowledge, whether they need to navigate to branded websites. Say, if I search Nike, then there will be a website for Nike and you need to, click and move to its branded website, or make a purchase, which talk about product or category pages. So you need to understand the user search intent before going ahead with any other steps. Because if you know the search intent, you will be able to, optimize and own a featured snippet very fast. So the next step is you need to run a competitive analysis on SERPs. Obviously, if we are trying to, compete with the blogs and then achieve the rank 1 of featured snippets, we need to see how other people are doing, right? So SEMrush has this SEO content template, which I use. Earlier, I used to do manually, but now because SEMrush has this feature, I am able to, speed up my process. So, every information about competing blogs, semantically related words, backlinks, readability, text length, page title, meta description, H1 text, everything, each and everything of the competing blogs, you can see on one screen. So it becomes completely easy for you to plan that what your content needs to have. So all this was about planning. Now it's time to implement. Create and update a content outline. So now you have the list of keywords that you need to target. You know the featured snippet type. Then you know the user search intent. And then you are ready with what competitors have. So now the time is to create a new outline or update the existing one to make sure your content is eligible to serve the user's search intent. Because they are ranking, the competing blogs are ranking on page 1, that means they are serving the user's search intent, right? So you need to either update your content or maybe create a fresh new outline. Next step is to validate if the content written by writers are as per your target audience or not, whether it is as per defined user search intent, the targeted keywords, and the suggestions that you had listed earlier. If they are not, if your content doesn't validate with all of these four things, please go back and repeat all the steps again. You need to make sure that your content needs to get validated for all of these 4 points. Yes, a very important step, I must say, because as I mentioned earlier about the patent that Google has acquired for featured snippets, that also talks about a content with proper structure. So, your content needs to be organized properly because that will have the higher chances to get into the featured snippets. So you should have heading 1 first, and then you will have content, then heading 2 content, heading 3 content, right? So that's how your entire content should be organized in order to help readers to understand what you're talking about, and also the search engines to understand what you're trying to say to your users, right? So this is a very crucial yet very important step to be followed. Next is adding the relevant graphics. Yes, I always prefer having some kind of media in a content. So even you might also have noticed, while doing a keyword ranking report or maybe just doing competitive analysis, you might have seen that featured snippets would either have one graphic or maybe multiple one, like this one that we have on our content. Right. So except for table and video featured snippets types, images play a crucial role for owning a featured snippet. So I recommend please have relevant media and graphics supporting your content. Yes, let me tell you, this is something that most of us might miss out on this, which is implementing basic on-page SEO. We have to optimize our blog in the same way that we optimize our money pages. You should not underestimate your blog. So you need to have proper title, you need to have meta description, that too a perfect one, heading tags, image alt attributes, internal links, and external links. You have to make sure your content is the best, right? For that, you have to make sure that it is optimized well for the search engines. Let's move on to my last step in this process, which is adding the schema markup tags. I would emphasize much on this because this is something that, these days we use plugins and all, and even if we are not using plugins, we do now give emphasis on having schema markups on our content. But yes, this is not influencing Google to, rank on featured snippets, but this is helping Google to understand your pages better. And the more Google understand your pages better, it will help Google to rank it on page 1. And you must know that once you are on page 1, you can easily rank on featured snippets. So these are the steps that you need to follow when you are looking to, optimize the content for featured snippets. But this is not yet over, because now the real punch comes here. I'm going to share my best practices for optimizing for featured snippets. So the very important step starts with planning your content calendar for you first and then for your writers. Yes. So what happens is, usually I work with SEO freelancers, in fact, also with in-house SEO team and many SEOs day in, day out. So what happens is I have seen that they all have content calendar and I'm really happy with that. But the problem is they have content calendar only for the writers. They don't have it for themselves. They will either have the content topic, they would have the keywords they need to target, the word count, also the date of estimated delivery or something like that. But what we miss out on is that first content calendar is helpful for SEOs. to plan how each content needs to be done, how each content has to drive its own value. So for that, you need to have a proper content calendar. So in that, the things that we discussed, right? It's already covered in this template. Well, this is my template that I use it. Here is the link, and you can copy it, and you can use it for your personal use. So what I have covered is the keywords to target, the featured snippet type it has, content topic, where we want to get it published, who will be our target audience, what is our goal of publishing that content, the user intent, the competition, outline, whether that blog needs to have FAQs or not, and the list is long, by the way. Because it was not fitting in my screen, I didn't take the entire screenshot, but you will find it in the template. So we need to plan our content calendar in a way that helps us first. Then it has to be for the writers, right? So even this is important to share it with the writers as well, because writers will able to understand for what purpose they are writing a content, right? So that is important. So don't create separate content calendars for you and writers. Keep it the same, and let them also understand the importance that we need to compete with these blogs. So their our expectations are increased by from them, so they will also think that, okay, no, I have to reach to that level of content, right?
Awesome.
Next
Awesome,
step.
Himani. Before I think so we move ahead, I am very curious to grab that link of that template. So is there any chance you're going to share it after this webinar, or how can we grab that template link?
Yeah, so I can share it. I'm going to share it with. I'll share it
Okay.
after we finish this, and
Yep.
I'll put it in the YouTube as well. And if you guys follow me on Twitter, you will find it on Twitter. You will find it on LinkedIn, on all of the platforms. So please feel free. You are definitely going to get this link, and you have just copy it.
By the way, that was a good plugin. Carry on,
I'm
carry
glad
on.
that
So,
you
guys,
liked it.
will I am seeing a lot of very good comments and questions flowing in. So we are just 10-12 minutes away from this presentation. When once it is over, we'll pick up your questions. So stay tuned. Let us
Yes,
proceed. Yeah.
absolutely. Yes, great. So next very important step is to work hard on keyword research. Let me tell you, this is something that people takes very lightly. It's like, I want to target, say for example, Flutter app development app, or maybe I want to rank for video editor software and all of those keywords. So when a person search for blog, for such informational query on Google, they are not looking for services all the time. So it's like we have to understand the intent, and we need, for that, to understanding the intent also, we need to do a really rigorous keyword research, which most of the time we take it really lightly. So we need to target keywords for your blog to rank first, and then about the money keywords, right? If I'll just keep on adding the money keywords because I am targeting this content to help me rank those money keywords. But if this blog won't be ranking on Google, how are you going to get the benefit of that money pages? So this is very important. Now, if you see on my right, I have shared this screenshot of our blog. If you will see, the query is not matching with the title; it is matching with the H2 that is present on the screenshot, right? So for that purpose, we did a keyword research. Let me help you go through the process that I did. So we put the keyword in keyword research tool and of SEMrush, and I got a lot of keywords, and then I took only the underlined keywords. Not all keywords are included in this screenshot because the list was huge, but a keyword research tool would give you many options, but that doesn't mean you have to take all of them. They are bringing the queries from search, from Google. So it is something that they might have a different search intent, right? So you need to pick it up the right keyword for your blog. So now, if you see, let me go back to that screen. The keyword is FAQ for e-commerce website. Let's see the CTR of that particular keyword is the highest one. You can, take a moment and see all the CTR for all the queries. This keyword with featured snippet has the highest CTR. I am sure that most of you now have, stopped thinking about we don't want to optimize for featured snippets because that really gets you traffic, right? So the next question is to add question keywords in heading tags. You might have seen the screenshot that I had shared earlier, which had this question in featured snippet. So I believe adding question keywords in the heading tags, but not necessarily I would add it. Say for example, if I am adding here, if I have added why should you have FAQs for e-commerce website or product pages, I might have 10 reasons why you should have FAQs for e-commerce website. So those can, depend on what is the search volume of those keywords. If question keywords has lesser volume compared to benefits one, the liner ones. So you have to take the call on which one would be helpful. Let me tell you, most of the time I use question keywords and it has helped me. So try using that. Great. So after looking at this point, please don't stare me with really big eyes. It's like aiming to create the best content. Most of the time what happens is whenever I talk about, the quality of the content should be improved. This is not the quality content, I would say, or something like that. People come up with questions. How do you qualify a content to be the best? Let me tell you, it is not easy to identify that. What I believe a good content, maybe not good content, sorry, what I believe to be the best content is, you can look at the content that is on my right, which talks about, which talks about somehow to become a better automation tester. This is the content that I wrote for one of my employers back in 2017. If you will notice the date, it is 22nd April. So it is like almost 4 years now, and it is still ranking on featured snippets because I've
Exactly
taken
four
this.
years ago.
Yes, exactly 4 years ago. And, I took this screenshot on Tuesday itself. So I'm really, happy to see. And this is what I call the best content. Why? Because it is ruling the SERPs since years. It is helping the reason, it is helping users to understand and get their answers resolved since 4 years, right? So this is what I call the best content. Your best content would be a content that goes for years and years and they still drive traffic to you. That's what I call the best content. And to create such content, I have a couple of tips on my left. You must add basic information that users expect. It is not something that the topic would change overnight and you might have some different steps altogether to explain in a content. So please include basic information that users expect. What you can do is you can add more value than competing blogs. Say for example, competing blogs might not have brought some examples. They might not have brought some case studies to explain their point. They might not have brought some research, some data to explain their points. So we can bring that, right? So that becomes adding more value than competing blogs. You need to identify that. You have to spend some time and you have to identify that. You need to explain it in a simple and better way. Don't make it complex because there are tons of articles published every day. So please explain it in a simple and better way. Use media to hook readers. Yes, yes, yes. A very important step. And I personally believe writing research-based content over opinion-based. I'm not saying that opinion-based content doesn't work. They do work, but it has to be proved with some kind of data. How you bring it, I don't know, but it has to be backed by the data. That's how users are tend to believe your point. Not just because you're an expert, people will believe. No, you have to showcase why you are saying a point. If you will explain that perfectly, that's perfectly fine. Great. So the next best practice is keep optimizing. Let me tell you, this is the most underrated technique. Once a blog is published, is lost forever, forgotten forever. Nobody looks after it and bother to optimize it. But let me tell you, what I do is I keep on checking the results every 7, 14, 21 days, and until that reaches the, featured snippets. Why? Because after checking these results, I keep on optimizing for increased or decreased impressions or CTR. Whether, if you see decreased impressions, you need to optimize your content accordingly. If you are seeing decreased CTR, then you need to optimize your content accordingly. But before optimizing, please make sure to check whether the impressions that you have lost, the CTR that you have lost are of the relevant keywords. If they are not the relevant keywords, then you don't need to waste your time. You are going at the right path. So keep optimizing. Great. Now, my last best practice is to use a mix of internal as well as external links. If you will see this screenshot, the first link comes external links. The another link I'm sharing is from HubSpot. And the third link at the end is my own blog. So I always prefer using a mixture of internal as well as external links. So you can also try that. I am telling you, using the mix of links really helps in ranking on page 1 at least. And then you know that once you are on page 1, it's easier to climb up, right? So this is what, these were the steps, these were the tips, or these were the best practices that I follow until and unless I see a featured snippet on Google. So please, keep doing them. So now let's, go through some of the FAQs that I, often hear from SEOs, content writers, or, other people's. Right. So the first one is that, is it possible to earn a featured snippet right after publishing content? Yes. Yes. In a week's time. But only if 2 or 3 of your blogs are already on the featured snippets. The difficult and the challenging part is to get that first 2 or 3 featured snippets. Once you are on the featured snippets, Google does consider you as an authoritative site. So whether not tomorrow, whether not in first 7 days, or whether not in 14 days, if you follow the optimization process, you will definitely be on featured snippets in just 21 days. That's possible to be, achieve the featured snippet in weeks time, but that has to be, before you must have those 2-3 featured snippets already ranking for your website. Great. So next, most important questions. Yes, I get this question a lot, but how many words a content must have to achieve featured snippets? Well, I must say it depends on the topic. What versus why versus how. If you ask me, what is a CRM? Then explaining CRM would take hardly 500 words or probably 800 words, right? I cannot explain more than that for what is a CRM. But if I have to explain, why do you need a CRM? So probably for that, I would need 9 to 10 points to explain the reasons, right? Why do you need a CRM? For that, probably 1500 words or maybe maximum 2000 words would be enough, right? But if I have to explain how do I use CRM, how to use a CRM. So for that, that becomes a guide, right? Because people expect it's to be, it expects them to be a guide. So that guide can reaches to 3000 words and even 4000 words. And even it can finish within 2500. So it really depends on the topic that you are covering, right? So that's how you can decide the words that your content must have. But you should not stick that, my content should only have 1200 words or only have 2000 words. No. Depends on the topic. You give freedom to SEOs to plan it and the writers to write it so that the exact value comes out.
Fantastic,
the last question.
Fantastic. Yep. Go ahead. Then I'll cover the point.
Great. Yes, great. So the last question for this common FAQs is, can we optimize it for service pages? Yes, this is a very common question because what happens is Some SEOs know the importance of featured snippets and they might have seen some results for their own blog, right? So what happens is they start expecting a service page to rank on the featured snippets. Let me tell you, featured snippets are for informative search intent. People come there to understand something, right? We discussed the search intent earlier, the four search intent, right? So the second search intent is to gain knowledge. So when it comes to gaining knowledge, they are like, your service pages should be, informative. It should have the authority and the depth of the content, graphics, backlinks should be awesome, right? Then only you can expect it. But expectation doesn't mean that you will own a featured snippet. No, it will definitely depend on the query, the search intent, and also on Google algorithms, because after all, Google decides whether we want to get featured snippets or not. So they have to decide that. So the answer to this question is that we can optimize it for featured snippets, but it is not necessary that we will have it. Great. So the best tip of today is that consistency to optimization is the key to the success of featured snippets. It's not that you have, published the content and things are done. No, keep optimizing it. If you want, you can have your internal SEO person to allocate every day 1 hour, where that person looks into how the rankings are going, how the traffic is moving, how impressions are coming, and based on that they can plan 1 hour every day to optimize the blogs that have already been written. Because if you won't consistently optimize them, Google won't be able to understand whether you are making that effort to make your content better. The more Google will come on your website to find out new updates, it will help a content to rank better, right? So make sure that you consistently optimize your blogs to make sure that it achieves the featured snippet. And that was all from my end for today's presentation. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and connect me on LinkedIn. Thank you so much, guys.
Awesome, Himani. Fantastic presentation. And there were a lot of insights to be taken away for me and for a lot of guys who are already watching us. And very important thing, the second FAQ which you covered, how many words of content is required to achieve a featured snippet. That was very, very important to understand what type of topic you are addressing, what type of queries you are addressing. It is totally based upon that. So fantastic. Right. You covered all the points, and I think so we should get started with questions. So guys who have asked questions, I'll pick those up. And the very first question is from Gaurav B. Is asking, having a table of content help in some way or not? I have observed on various websites such as search engine journals.
Okay, so table featured snippet you are talking about, right?
Gaurav is asking more about does having a table of content help in achieving a featured snippet?
Acha, okay, got it. Yes, definitely it helps. Even if we don't look at whether it influences or not, but it helps the user to understand it. And sometimes what happens is for two of my clients, I guess I have integrated it just for the sake of users, and then I found that Google picks the the featured snippet content from that table of contents. So yes, that does help. It doesn't influence, but yes, if you have it, it does help.
Awesome, fantastic. There is a question from Daniel Enric Costa. Is it worth to optimize for a featured snippet on seasonal content? Like that content will not be relevant in a few months and relevant for a few months. So it depends.
Right. So I believe if it can drive us traffic even for a short period of time, I would definitely like to do that. Why not to take the advantage of having featured snippet and drive more traffic in less time?
Okay. So the next question we have is from Nakul Gurjar. He asks how to get ranked categories and subcategories pages of e-commerce site on Featured Snippet.
Okay, that's a very interesting question because ranking category and subcategory pages are like it doesn't come up with featured snippets. By the way, if you will, search any product on the website, you won't find it as a featured snippet. What you will have is either you will have a list of knowledge panel at the right or maybe on the top bar, but they are not featured snippets. So it is, for featured snippets, category or subcategory pages won't be the right to optimize them, but it does help if we are, optimizing, considering to reach on the page one. That is more important for e-commerce websites.
Okay, okay, awesome. Moving to the next question from Jack. I'm noticing mainly blogs and pages, specifically Wikipedia pages, getting featured snippets. But is it possible to get featured snippets with product or category pages? Question is a little bit similar.
Yeah, similar, right? So it depends, if you see that featured snippets are available on Google when you search for your required or desired queries, then you must optimize it. Usually product and category pages doesn't get featured snippets on, the top, like, because there are only 4 or 5 types of featured snippets available, listicle, paragraph, carousel, and table and video. So, you won't find much. Those
Yep.
could be the knowledge panel or probably some other carousel kind of things,
Hmm.
and not exactly the featured snippets.
Yeah. We have next question from Neha Arora. She asks, high search volume and low competition keywords, does those help in achieving a featured snippet?
Well, they don't help in achieving featured snippets, but yes, if you play tactfully, then definitely you can get featured snippets. Start with low search volume keywords first, and then what you can do is for low search volume keywords, the competition is less, so you can own a featured snippet faster there. So, try optimizing 2 3 content for that featured snippets, and once you have 2 3 blogs ranking on featured snippets for low search volume keywords, you can then shift your focus on high search volume keywords, and then you can start optimizing it for them. It will be easier and faster.
Okay, so fantastic. Moving ahead, Gaurav Mishra have 2 questions. So he has asked 2 questions total. One of them is the similar one which you answered just recently, and the next question which he asked is how much traffic the featured snippet is giving you. Please share. So it's up to you.
I am so sorry that I couldn't reveal the numbers because, see, I sign NDAs with the clients. So I'm not going to share the exact numbers. But let me tell you, if you are in featured snippets, then it is driving amazing traffic, even on the keywords that were not ranking earlier. For those keywords also you start getting ranks, you start getting traffic, so earning and owning a featured snippets becomes very important.
Yep. The next question is from the SEO Today. Can we rank for FAQ and PWA queries in featured snippet? So I think so. He means to ask if we optimize for featured snippet, can we rank for FAQ and PWA?
I didn't get the exact question. Are you talking about the keywords exactly? Can we rank for FAQ and PAA query in featured snippet? Yes, absolutely. But then you have to be very tricky. If you are giving the entire answer on featured snippet, people are not going to click on it. So play tactfully over there. If it is FAQ or PAA query, then you have to make sure that you don't give entire information on first go. If you find your featured snippet of giving exact answers on featured snippet, try optimizing it. Make sure that you don't give the exact one liner or specific answers that I showcased in the presentation, don't give exact specific answers on featured snippets. Otherwise, you will lose the CTR.
Oh yeah, that's very very interesting insight. That's probably like de-optimizing instead of optimizing. It's
Yeah,
reverse optimizing.
right,
So
right.
we have a very good question coming up next. It is from Arun Prakash. He asks, is better CTR percentage a parameter to consider getting the featured snippet?
Uh, it is for the people who are only looking for traffic. Let me tell you frankly, SEOs always look for either rankings or traffic. Their KPI is to prove worth of bringing relevant traffic to the website. So yes, CTR is a parameter to consider to get the featured snippet. Otherwise, there are a lot of benefits of featured snippets. Brand awareness is also a thing. The people who are looking to improve their visibility on Google search, they also target featured snippets, though they are going to see that CTR is not the thing. But because there is so much debate happening on internet on zero click searches and all of those things, that is the reason why it is important to cover that it is not something that it will always go it will always give zero click searches. No, they does drive traffic. So that was the reason that I made a point. Otherwise, there are multiple benefits of owning a featured snippet.
Fantastic. Moving forward to the next question from Offers on Web. How can we outrank or remove our competitors who already have achieved feature snippet?
I guess Google gives you the option of giving the feedback. You can give your feedback, and you can do the wonders. But keep it secret. Please don't tell it to anyone.
It's all about reporting the existing kind of feature snippet. If you see that those are not relevant and you try
Yes.
optimizing better than them, obviously.
Otherwise,
Yeah,
it may happen in the reverse thing as well. If you try to remove remove theirs, it might happen that they may come again next time because they keep on optimizing their content, and we are left just because we are not optimizing our content. So make sure you optimize your content.
again, a very good question from Arun Prakash. He asks, are featured snippets exclusively for top and middle of the funnel based search queries?
Not at all. It helps in all of the funnel. Whether it is, you are trying to attract new customers, whether you are trying to nurture them, or whether you are trying to convert them. The queries differ for each of the funnel. The user search intent differ from each funnel. So you can target all of the funnels there, though the chances for the bottom level funnel would have lesser queries, or maybe probably no queries as well for search for featured snippets. But I must say, you should keep an eye on Google, that whether those queries have featured snippet or not. If they don't have, they you hardly will have a chance to grab it.
Awesome, fantastic. Moving forward to the next question from the SEO today. If I have a short keyword ranking for number one position, how can I push it to featured snippet?
Already on rank 1 and then featured snippets.
Yes,
If I have to
this is
select keyword optimizer featured snippet, what you recommend, short keywords or long keywords? Okay, let me tell you. Featured snippets is for informative search intent. So it's like if you write about car insurance policy or something, such sort of queries with only 3 words in your query, then also you can get a featured snippets, because it might happen that a Google is also an algorithm, right? So it's like they also keep on optimizing their results for better user experience. So that happens that for some queries they might not receive the featured snippet signals or kind of thing, and they might not show it. But there are chances that if they are showing it, then we should definitely optimize it for either short keywords or long keywords, and to push them on featured snippets.
Awesome. Fantastic. We have the next question from Crutchfield, Dylan. I'm sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. Uh, Similar to often web question, how do we outrank remove a competitor like Wikipedia? For example, the knowledge panel featured snippet and say Wikipedia owns most of these for the keywords we want to target. So this particular guy wants to go against Wikipedia and how to overcome.
Then try to create a resource which is your page, the best one for your target audience. Then it may outrank Wikipedia as well. For that you need to prepare a strategy of having internal as well as external links as well. So that's how you will be able to optimize your content, make it a resource which is very important for your target audience, that they cannot miss to have it. Create a content which is better than Wikipedia and you will beat them.
Awesome, awesome. We would love to see some case studies beating Wikipedia for featured snippets. That would be something
Yes.
interesting.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, I must tell you that I haven't tried that yet because I have never had a chance for that. But surely, if you guys try it, please share it with me.
Awesome, awesome. Um, Moving forward to the next question from Francisca Ferrato. I still don't understand why the featured snippet is so relevant for traffic if people don't click on the website. How do featured snippet influence traffic?
Okay, so like I said in the presentation as well, that for the queries that have the specific answers, only those queries doesn't pass on the traffic. Otherwise, if it is the detailed level content ranking on featured snippets, it does drive traffic. And I have been doing this since more than 6 years now. And I have seen after owning a featured snippet, it does drive traffic, and that too a tremendous one.
Yeah. Yep. The very next question is on the lines which we just discussing from Nikhil Sharma. He asked, can we say that featured snippet makes our website content go viral?
I would say not viral because it is like, viral is something that, it keeps a trending. फिर चाहे पूजा हो, श्वेता हो, whatever, those are the trending things. So such trending things are not equal to featured snippets. Featured snippets, it gives a first impression to your target audience that, okay, I am seeing this website again and again on featured snippets. I mean, whenever I search, I get the first, the first website that I get is your website. Then it will build the trust. It will build the trust for your website, for your brand, and that will make them convert after, searching for your brand specifically, and then it will convert.
Okay, fantastic. Moving forward to the next question from Dipanshu Gupta. Is there any type of snippet which Google considers more, like paragraph, list, or table, which performs better?
Okay, so I would say that there is no comparison. Just like, it will differ from query to query and the search intent behind the query as well. Most of the time I see is paragraph and listicle compared to table or any other, formats of featured snippets. So the queries which starts from why, or maybe the long queries which talks about the benefits of this, the reason of this is how to do something, how to do that, or something like that. So it's like when it comes to explaining through videos, then video features snippets are there. When it's text based, then paragraph and listicles are there the most of the time.
Awesome, awesome, fantastic. Um, Moving forward to the next question from Suresh Kumar. He asks, is HTML5 semantic code enhance the featured snippet chances?
I don't think so because their patent doesn't talks about that.
Okay, okay, awesome. Um, there's one more question, which is how much time, the question is from Gaurav Mishra, how much time will it take to rank very high competitive keywords in featured snippets?
It depends. 6 months, 8 months, even 1 year, or more than that. But if you already have featured snippets for low search volume keywords already, it will be much quicker. I would say, in 24 weeks, or probably in 3 months or 4 months, that's it. So you need to make sure that you first own a featured snippet for low search volume keyword, and then go for high competitive keywords. That will be much easier and faster to get.
Okay, so there is one basic question, but I think we would like to answer this one from Latif Kotia. He asked, how do you track a featured snippet?
Yes, okay. So I tracked through multiple tools, Google Search Console, SEMrush, and there are many other tools that I keep a track on. But mostly feature, it's like SEMrush gives this report. So I match the report with Google Search Console and I make a note of them.
Yes, we have a very interesting question which I had tweeted recently, last week probably. So Gaurav Soni, who is our common friend, is asking that question. Double featured snippets in Google search results. Are they testing again?
Probably because Gaurav, it's like we also discussed the right. Even I commented that I haven't seen it. Even after you sharing it on Twitter, I checked it for my clients as well. But I didn't see it the double featured snippet. So I believe they might be testing, but I'm not sure if they are planning anything on that, because nobody is talking about that. And it's not just that they're not talking about it, but there's no point of coming it with that. I believe that it will just confuse the users, and that's because
Uh,
they might have removed this option from SERPs.
yeah, yeah. That was kind of a bug or something like that because it rarely appears.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Even that used to appear early. We used to
yeah,
discuss this a lot, but from recent a few months or maybe years, we haven't seen such scenarios.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So last couple of questions. Uh, we have one question from Vishal Bhatt. Some research said that featured snippet increase your impressions but decreases your clicks and CTR. So bloggers who earn from Google AdSense wish to appear at one result instead of zero result.
Okay,
Position one instead of
Vishal.
zero.
Okay, Vishal, now it's only first rank. Now there is no more zero rank. So it's like, it is ranking on first, and then there are only 9 results after that. So, it is like that. I must say, impressions are going super high when it comes to featured snippets. I have experienced it when it reaches to that. I mean, I can see the graph literally like this, the hockey stick graph. So impressions really increases faster compared to CTR. So yes, there is something to be worried about CTR, and that's why I told you that you have to keep monitoring that. If you see decreased impressions, you need to optimize your content again. If you see decreased CTR, you need to optimize for CTR. So that's what the punch is. Keep optimizing so that you stay on top for years.
Fantastic. So we'll pick the very last question from today's session. It's from Nemil Shah. Does a CMS impact the featured snippet?
CMS? Not really. If you are using
Yeah,
WordPress and if I'm using some other platform, I don't think it will affect the featured snippets. No, featured snippet is completely about information. What information, how you are providing that information, it is only impacted on that basis.
awesome. So we'll pick one more last question from the SEO today. I think so. This should be answered. Do we need a specific size of image to rank in featured snippets?
No, if you have your, if your CMS suggests a particular, pixel wide image, then you have to use that. Google will pick it up anyway. There is no specific size that Google gives us to prepare images for, right? So even if you are having an infographic, that also would rank on Google. So there is no specific size required to own our rank on featured snippets.
Fantastic, fantastic. such a great set of answers from you, Himani. Uh, I think so. The last almost 60 minutes, it's been 60 minutes since we are live, and it's been awesome. You sharing all about content and featured snippets and the knowledge bombs around featured snippets. And yeah, we tried to take almost all the questions which were unique and which were not repetitive. We tried to answer each one of them, and so this brings us to the end of this third webinar of SEMrush India series. And we have had a good time with all of you joining us. And before we leave today, before we be apart, I think so. Don't follow. Don't forget to follow Himani. Don't forget to follow SEMrush on multiple platforms: Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn as well. And don't follow to forget. Don't forget to follow the host. So you can follow me on Twitter.
Yes.
I'm active on Twitter. I've been hosting SEO Twitter chat since last 4 years, and it is India's one of the oldest digital marketing Twitter chats. So don't forget to tune in on every Monday, 9:30 to 10:30 p.m. So this is your host with the special guest of today, Himani Kankaria. We are signing off from this platform, and see you guys in the next webinar. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Bye bye, all. Let's connect on social.